Well, I would say that it's about time to call it a day. How about you? Welcome to Nightsounds. In case you happen to be awake and around and about right now, I invite you to join me. My name is Bill Pearce, and we do this just about every night at this time on this radio station. And I realize that for many of you, calling it a day means getting on your way to nighttime responsibilities. Many of you driving late at night. I think of professional drivers and these giant 18-wheelers traversing the nation's interstates. Those of you who have to be awake. Medical personnel. Those who can't sleep, who may be patients in hospitals. Insomniacs. Those who can't seem to find any sleep at all. Maybe some of you are up late studying. Students, colleges, universities, high schools. Whatever state you happen to be in right now, or condition, I, again, heartily and warmly, welcome you to these few moments. Tonight's program, since we're speaking of late night activity or sleep or whatever you happen to be into at this moment, I've called our time together Night Shift. Well, music is certainly a facet of our outreach that is often commented on, and certain kinds of music, certain songs in particular, seem to strike you. That's why we repeat certain pieces of music from time to time. A case in point is one with an unidentified soloist. For some reason, this particular company didn't want to tell us who this was singing, but this piece of music that I play for you right now has found great favor with our nighttime audiences. It's from one of the classics. It's entitled At the Close of Day. A sweet female voice to sing for us, to help us to sleep and go about our night shift. Let's listen and be attentive and enjoy.
Daylight fades, shadows fall, stars come out to play. Quiet drifts over all at the close of day. Whippoorwill sings her song.
Daylight fades, shadows fall, stars come out to play. Our opening music on tonight's program, as that was playing, maybe some of you are trying to remember who wrote that particular piece of classical music. There's no artist identified, as I mentioned a few moments ago, nor is there any other information on this particular disc. But I'm just wondering if it might have been Tchaikovsky. Some of you who are acquainted with classical music will no doubt write and tell me who it was and wasn't. I'm taking a guess on that one. Tonight's program entitled Night Shift. Some nights ago on this program, I played some comments and music by an old friend and very well-known musician and songwriter to many of you, John W. Peterson. Received a message from him not too far back, and he mentioned in this letter, quote, "The lines of this enclosed poem came to me one sleepless night a couple of months ago when I was in the hospital recuperating from a heart attack and quadruple bypass surgery." He said, "I was thinking about all of this that had happened and wondering why. Suddenly, it seemed that the Lord's presence was especially real in that particular room in the hospital, and I was filled with an indescribable peace. And my questionings turned to praise." And John, a few hours later, thinking and reflecting on that, wrote these lines of poetry which he called Night Season. What is this strange peace that is flooding my mind, that's keeping me calm in the storm? What is this strange rest, this contentment I find, though the troubles around me now swarm? It's the presence of Jesus, His words that console. It's the Comforter's fullness down deep in my soul. It's knowing that my Father has all in control. That's the peace, wondrous peace in my heart. What is this strange balm that is gently applied along the raw edges of pain, that's touching the hurt and the sorrow inside, and soothing the stress and the strain? It's love that surrounds me, the love of our Lord. It's grace and His goodness from heaven outpoured, an ointment of healing by which I'm restored. That's the balm, precious balm that I feel. What is this strange melody reaching my ear that drowns out the sounds that annoy? What is this sweet song in the night that I hear, that gives me such hope and such joy? It's music from heaven for cheering me on, and all to remind me night soon will be gone, that after the darkness there's always a dawn. That's the song, glorious song, that I hear. Words by John W. Peterson as he reflected in the night, asking questions and wondering about why what's happened to him did happen the way it did, and when and where. And tonight, as we meet each other out of the darkness, I'm just glad that you're there, and I hope that you'll respond. I feel that this is a dialogue, not a monologue, and even though I sit here alone in the studio night after night, I sense your presence, along with the presence of our Lord, about whom Mr. Peterson wrote. There's something very intimate and very beautiful and unique that happens night by night in this program. Even our theme music, which so many of you have commented on, entitled Bonsoir, French for Beautiful Evening, written by Claude Debussy. This has been an item of much discussion and much expression from you as listeners. Probably 85 to 90% of you enjoy it. Some don't. They feel it's a little bit spooky and threatening to them. But it certainly has seemed to set the stage for nighttime radio. As I mentioned, tonight's program is entitled Night Shift. Many of you are medical personnel. We receive letters from doctors, especially nurses, who work the night shift. Got an email not too long ago from a night nurse named Irene Budd, and she wrote a little piece to me, a personal reflection on her night shift. As she said, graveyard shift, night shift, third shift, they all mean the same thing to me. 8 hours of no sleep. I walked up the hill to the hospital entrance, each leg feeling as if it was cast in concrete. Mulling over what a nursing instructor had told me at graduation, I giggled despite my exhaustion. You're working nights? Take lots of books to read because you won't have anything to do. Ha, she said, little did she know that there weren't enough hours on the face of the earth to finish all the tasks in a night. Well, I barely had my coat off my shoulders when patients started ringing their call lights for instant attention. Medications needed mixing. Doctors were phoning in orders. And the evening nurse was insistently trying to give a report in the middle of the chaos. Well, it was a typical night on a surgical unit. So I took a deep breath, grabbed my stethoscope, and began to jot down notes about the assignment. 10 patients. How in the world would I ever give the kind of care that they deserved? This night shift nurse went on to say, I could feel the hysteria building. My pulse picked up a couple of beats, and the first cup of coffee was a mere memory by the time I grabbed the medication cart parked at the nurse's station and rolled it into the hall. Already an hour had passed, and I was overwhelmed. I told myself to just chill out and deal with one room at a time. Easier said than done. It seemed that every patient had a complication, a request, a need, or a complaint. Rushing around like a whirling dervish, I pushed myself harder and harder. Taunting me was the image of the paperwork to tend to when I finished my care. So I tried to pick up speed that I could beat the clock. The last room was quiet and dark. It looked as though I was in the clear. I could tiptoe in and out, then rush off to attack the mountain of reports. Since the patient was being discharged in the morning, he didn't really need me for anything right then. He could be assessed more thoroughly when he woke up later in the night. No such luck. Nurse! The timid voice reached my ears just as I was about to close the door. Nurse! Oh, how I wished I'd never heard that word. Why hadn't I walked a little faster before he heard my rubber-soled shoes? Well, I turned toward the man under a twisted pile of blankets and sheets and replied, Yes, is there anything I can do for you? I was wondering. I was diagnosed with cancer today, and I was just wondering if you had time to talk. And so began his cry from the soul. I sat at this gentle man's bedside and listened while he bared his emotions and exposed his fears. I prayed with him then, forgetting about the work that I deemed so important just an hour before. When he had nothing left to say, I heard his words and told him that I wished I could wave a magic wand to cure him. All I could do was just to cheer him, to be there for him, to listen, and to pray that he would receive the strength to deal with his illness. We cried together, and I stood to leave the room. His final words continue their echo in my mind. He said, "I prayed to God to send someone to me so I could talk. My wife died a month ago, and I have no one. But I thank you for being here with me and taking the time to listen. I know the Lord sent you to me in the middle of the night." Well, this dear nurse said, that encounter was a God tap on my shoulder to remind me that he knows how much I can handle. My 8 hours of work while the rest of the world sleeps is no longer work as I know it. It's reporting for duty, ready for whatever assignment God deems necessary. Mother Teresa understood that when she wrote, "It's not how much you do, but how much love you put into the doing and sharing with others that is all important." And this report of the night shift by Nurse Irene Budd would certainly touch each of us in a certain way tonight as we meet together. Many of you are in the senior citizen years, and I just take by the mail we receive that along with the 20 and 30-year-olds and those in the baby boom generation and other age groups, that many of you who are advanced in years do like to remember some of the kinds of music that you heard long ago. Well, here's a recording that I found in the archives back here. I remember it well because we recorded it about 45 years ago. The Melody 4 Quartet, a beautiful song by Harry Dixon Lowes, entitled "In the Still of the Night." It begins with quiet orchestra, and the quartet begins to just express the thoughts of the night people, one of which may be you. So let's listen together. In the still of the night, Jesus came to me.
In the still of the night, Jesus came to me. As I listened, he whispered so tenderly, "Mourn thou not, the day now gone.
A vintage recording of the Melody 4 Quartet. Song entitled In the Still of the Night, Jesus Came to Me. Those of you who may have joined us in the past few moments, I welcome you. You're in tune with Nightsounds. I'm Bill Pearce, speaking to you out of the darkness. The title of our time together tonight is Night Shift, and many of you are listening on the way to work and route back again. A good many people do that, driving in their cars. We happen to come on right at the correct time for them, or they may listening, returning. Wherever we find you, in whatever condition, as I mentioned a moment ago, it's a certain pleasure that I have night by night to meet you in this fashion. We will be leaving the air in a few minutes, but as that happens, we do continue with the ministry of Nightsounds through compact discs, one of which you'll hear in just a moment. If we can send you any information on the program, our email address is nightsoundsradio@aol.com. Our website is nightsoundsradio.org. I'd be delighted to have you visit us in that manner. There's certain information that you'll find there that you don't hear on the air. And our mailing address is Nightsounds, Wheaton, Illinois, 60189. I mentioned a moment ago the music of Nightsounds. There's one particular recording of an old spiritual introduced by the sound of the chorus singing open vowels, no words. The lyrics will come along in just a few seconds. He, God, never sleeps. He never slumbers. He watches me night and day. That's good to know. We need that kind of confidence as we lay our head on the pillows or go about our responsibilities. Helen Steiner Rice wrote, "When dark days come, and they come to us all, we feel so helpless and lost and small. We can't fathom the reason why, and it's futile for us to try to find the answer, the reason or cause, for the master plan is without any flaws, and when the darkness shuts out the light, we must lean on faith to restore our sight. For there's nothing that we need to know, other than wherever we go, God will be there. May His healing completely mend you where you are. May the great physician attend you at this moment of your darkness, your pain, and your need." Now once again, as we fade under our theme music, beautiful evening, I want to thank you very specifically and sincerely for being right where you are tonight, in whatever darkness you may be facing, as you anticipate another night, another day tomorrow. May God's peace be with you. We'd love to have you join us again and get together like this on Night Sounds. Our mailing address, Nightsounds, Wheaton, Illinois, 60189. May God take you through the darkness to His light. Until we meet again, a great day tomorrow and a peaceful good night to you.